As day traders, swing traders, no matter what you're trading, stocks, options, bonds, futures, cryptocurrency, you need to have an edge. The more things you have in your favor, the more things you can do, the more of an edge you have, right? The people that don't have edges are the gamblers. They just show up, they're showing up for fun, and if that's your style, that's fine. But you realize that there's no edge because you're just randomly doing things, you're doing things, well, just because. However, if you want to treat this professionally, if you want to treat this as more than just some sort of, gambling fun, then you have to do whatever is needed to give an edge. And one of the biggest edges, and I would argue the most important edge, is what's going on in your mind. How are your emotions? How are your thoughts? What's going on mentally speaking? Now, this may not mean a whole lot to you if you've never traded with real money, so you'll have to take my word for it. But I promise you, a guarantee I can make, when you get real money on the line, once again, I'm operating under the assumption you want to treat this seriously, you're going to notice voices show up. You're going to notice all sorts of emotions and thoughts, and your mind becomes a very crazy place once your hard-earned money is on the line and at risk. So an edge you can give yourself is mental control. Like I said, that's the most powerful edge, I would argue. Sure, candlesticks, reading charts, cash flow statements, Bollinger Bands, MACDs, all that stuff. Fantastic, all that stuff has its place. They can give you edges. But at the core, the most important edge, again, in my opinion, is what's going on in your mind. How are your emotions? Because as soon as your emotions, you lose control of those, you have lost the most important edge. So I don't care what the technical setup looks like. I don't care about that. You're not going to be able to operate as you should because your mentalness, is that a word? I don't know. But your mental edge is officially gone if you have lost control. And I want to give you an example of this, of how a trade for me, I just had to admit that I lost my edge. Why? Because I lost my cool. I lost my mental fortitude. And sometimes when that happens, you just got to admit that you got to be done for the day. You got to just say, I lost it. My mental edge is gone. And when your mental edge is gone, there's no point in going further because you're not going to be operating at your best as you should, which when your hard-earned money is on the line, I would assume that you want to be operating as you should. So let me walk you through this trade, and you'll hear it in my voice. I'm verbally saying it. You can tell I'm not very happy with myself, but this is one of those instances where you always just got to be aware. Everybody's different in regard to what can cause somebody to lose their mental edge, but this was one of them for me. So a little context, I'm going to go short the stock, meaning I want the price to go down. So as beginners, yes, believe it or not, you can make money when prices go down. That is known as shorting, going short a stock. So I want to see the stock go down. So let's see what happens. We have an order at 190.85 here on NVIDIA trying to get filled on this current upwards move. So need it to come up just a bit more. Hopefully this doesn't happen again like I got on Tesla. Just a little bit more. Okay, in. So took off half there. I double clicked. Did not mean to do that. Should still have 75 shares. Oh, you bonehead. And I try to keep it family friendly, just call myself a bonehead. In my mind, I was calling myself a lot worse than that. But you could hear it in my voice. You could see the nasty name that I called myself, a bonehead. But I was just disgusted with myself because I nailed that entry point. I got a really fast move in my favor. And then I totally screwed it up. And I was furious. Even now thinking about it, and this was several days ago when it happened, it's just, idiot, what were you doing? But that's the whole point. You can hear it. I clearly lost my mental edge. And when that happens to you, hey, welcome to the club. I guess maybe there's some traders out there, maybe they're robots that never lose their mental edge because they have their emotions in check perfectly all the time. I've never met one of these traders, but I suppose in theory they could exist, but I'm not one of those. So if you're not one of those either, then hey, at least there's two of us in this world. But the key is don't Don't be shameful, right? There is no shame in saying, my emotions are in control right now. I don't have an edge from a mental standpoint. Sure, I can still read candlesticks. Sure, I can understand a MACD, but my mental edge, it's gone because for a variety of reasons. In this situation, you saw what knocked me out of the game from a mental standpoint. So be aware of it. Don't lie to yourself. Don't be prideful. It's okay if you get mentally shook in and you got to just step away, because when you sleep on it and you come back and you're mentally refreshed, you're going to be so glad that you made that decision, as opposed to continuing to trade because maybe you're lying to yourself. Oh, no. I'm in mental control still. I still have my mental edge. When you don't, and then you go do something stupid and terrible and a loss or just something really bad happens when it didn't need to. And ask me how I know that, because I've done it multiple times and it's just not worth it. So, in conclusion, I feel like I'm writing a paper back in school. In conclusion, but at the core, the biggest edge you can give yourself is mentally. So if you lose that edge mentally, then nothing else matters, because there's a high risk that things get really, really nasty. So be aware of it. Don't be prideful about it. It happens to everybody. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up, as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.